Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahawashi, Bahashem Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the elders and bishops of Great Millstone who teach and rule well, and salutations to the beloved prophets and brothers continue to exhort the sheep in these last days. And a mighty shalom to all the hopeful elect listening in, to the 12 tribes scattered abroad, shalom. The title of this epistle is going to be entitled, A Flood is Coming. A flood is coming. The trumpets have been blowing the sound of an alarm in the land and continuing to warn the sheep and the flock of the Most High Yahweh Bahashem HaMashiach Yahawashi that a flood is coming. The impending dangers and judgments and the wrath of the Most High Yahweh will be poured out upon this sinful kingdom for all the atrocities and the iniquities that continue to abound and grow throughout the entire earth. And every country and every continent, they continue to live in folly and iniquity and their abominable, atrocious sins. So this is a call to the hopeful elect and to the 12 tribes scattered abroad to come back and seek your power while he may be found, to eat this sincere word of truth and strength to build you up in the times to come, and to be very aware of how to maneuver in these times, being that light that shineth in a dark place. For many believe themselves to be harboring up sound doctrine and wisdom that will be sought out and fall short in these times to come. They will seek out the true prophets that was set up from aforetime to deliver unto the word. But in these times, they continue to mock and scoff and dismiss what is being said throughout the scriptures. So plainly, let's jump into Matthew chapter 24 and pick up verse 37 and 38. It says, But as the days of Noah were, so shall the coming of the Son of Man be. For as in the days they were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying, given in marriage, until the day that Noah entered into the ark. Let's pick up 39. And knew not until the flood came and took them all away. So shall the so also the coming of the Son of Man be. Salakia for stumbling on that. In other words, people were so preoccupied in preparing for the impending judgments and doom to be poured out upon the earth, but were not preparing their spiritual ark, in a sense, building up their understanding and wisdom on how to spiritually prepare for the times to come. But these people were carnally preparing. And we know that none of the things that we can do carnally in our own strength and might, any dollar amount is not going to be able to preserve us. No amount of laborious work in the times to come is going to prepare us, but the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding on the directions that were set up for us to maneuver in these times. We are to let go of the cares of this fallen world as it transitions into the kingdom to come, in which Jacob will be called next to reign in righteousness alongside of our Messiah and the hopeful elect, to reestablish the Melchizedek order, the house of David, to bring forth faith and truth and righteousness into this earth, this earthly realm. So, as in the days of Noah, these people were preparing and were not aware of the signs to be watchful for. If we go back a couple verses and start at verse 32, the Messiah gives us a preparatory sign to be watchful for in coming into these days. So at verse 32 it says, Now learn a parable of the fig tree. When the branch is yet tender and putteth forth leaves, you know that summer is nigh. So likewise, ye, when you shall see all these things, know that it is near, even at the door. So the verse down goes, but of the day and hour knoweth no man, no, not even the angels of heaven, but my Father only. Yes, this verse says that we don't know to the exact time and date of all these said perils, and the second coming of Hamashiach Yahushai is going to enter in. But we are to be very watchful and mindful of these things coming to pass. He says to measure out the times diligently in itself. And when you see part of these times pass, know that is the very same time that the Most High will come to visit the earth in which he has made. So he's given us signs and verses and teachers and pastors set up above us to teach us what to be watchful for, as where the other lot will have lulled and went back to sleep because they are too relaxed in their comfortability here. So you don't want to be caught unawares. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 26. Isaiah chapter 26. A flood is definitely coming. It's starting to rain. Isaiah chapter 26 and verse 20. Isaiah chapter 6 and verse 20 and 21. It says, "Come, my people, enter thou into thy chambers." This is your spiritual ark. He says, "Come, my people, enter thou into thy chambers, and shut thy doors about thee. Hide thyself as if it were for a little moment, until the indignation be overpast." Just as in the days of Noah, Noah went into that ark that the Most High Yahweh, Yahweh Shai, had made him prepare for himself and his family of 8 souls, building up the understanding of the times to come, right? In no sense of the word did he tell us to go and acquire land and plant a bunch of things and hopes that that is going to preserve our life, because he tells us to be in these evil days, be as pilgrims on the earth. He's going to have you move from location to location, not stationary, to be a prey unto those that have not hearkened unto the words of the Most High Yahweh. So Isaiah chapter 26 and verse 20 again, it says, "Come, my people, enter thou into thy chambers, and shut thy doors about thee. Hide thyself." The way you hide yourself is through the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, right? Because it is of the Most High to give instructions unto his righteous vessels, those that have the ears to hear and eyes to see, those that dismiss what he's trying to say and do not harbor up the wisdom and intelligence that he is trying to deliver unto them to save their soul. That won't be hidden. Their nakedness will be exposed, right? "Hide thyself as if it were for a little moment, until the indignation be overpast. For behold, the Most High Yahweh cometh out of his place to punish the inhabitants of the earth for their iniquity. The earth also shall disclose her blood, and shall no more cover her slain." All the iniquity is exposed. People's dark, sinister spirits is going to come and come forth, right? Every foul beast is going to be looming and preying on the lesser of the wicked. So we want to be able to hide ourselves in those secret chambers, and that's only provided. Safety is only provided by Yahweh Yahweh Shai. You cannot provide safety and provision for yourself. So this should be a message to stir someone up into consistently staying in prayer and repentance, and seeking out those things that are displeasing unto the Father, and purging iniquity, so that way you may have that opportunity to be covered in the times to come, right? By receiving the sincere word that our Messiah has brought down to the earth for us to walk in, eating the flesh and drinking the blood. This is to partake in that cup of suffering, and to eat every word that was established from aforetime. Nothing is null and void, but it is all profitable unto salvation. Every word. So we want to hide ourselves in the secret chambers, because the flood is coming, and we want to be covered in the times to come. Let's go into the book of Ecclesiasticus in your Apocrypha. Go into Sirach chapter 39. chapter 39, and we'll start at verse 28. It says, there be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. Those spirits that are created for vengeance are made nonetheless by our Father Yahweh. He creates all things, good, evil, and wicked for the day of wrath. He controls all spirits. So keep that in mind. There's nothing outside of his power. This is why we seek to him for all things: refuge, safety, information, comfort, everything. Everything in our lives we seek him for. And we know that we do not want to be caught with our pants down, if you will, to be one of those spirits that are destroyed for lack of knowledge. There be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made him. So again, we want to be hidden in that spiritual ark and be covered by Yahweh Shai, while the death angels are cleansing the earth of iniquity and unrighteousness, right? For he is in control of all spirits, the evil and the good. Verse 29 of Ecclesiasticus chapter 39, it says, fire and hail and famine and death, all these were created for vengeance. Teeth of wild beasts and scorpions, serpents, and the sword, punishing the wicked to destruction. The Most High Yahweh has a determination to cleanse the earth of iniquity and purge out sinners, those that do not keep his ways, and especially those that do not have any faith in believing in what he has said for us to abide in and understand. This is all his doing, his story. It is written from beginning to end. There is nothing outside of that. Anyone that believes themselves to have free will, well, you're going to be given up to the devices of your own heart, your own understanding, and not having made him your refuge. You will not be hidden in the times to come. Let's go into Isaiah chapter 2. Isaiah chapter 2. Isaiah chapter 2, verse 8 on down. 8 to 12. Isaiah chapter 2, verses 8 to 12. It says, their land also is full of idols. They worship the work of their own hands, that which their own fingers have made. There are those that are building themselves little hidey holes and root cellars, cabin in the woods, bunkers, creating escape plans for emergency situations. Not saying that any of that's bad, but if your plans are to escape the wrath to come by hiding somewhere in a mountain, you're going to be caught unaware. You're going to be caught unaware, and it's going to be a detriment unto you. That's not faith. That's not bravery. He says to have no fear. You know, if you know who guards you and keeps you, there should be nothing to stir you. If you believe every drop of word that he has ever poured down from the heavens, that is what you stand on. It's only through the power and might of Yahweh and his only beloved son, Yahweh Shai, will you have the armament, the stamina, and that double-edged sword to defend you in all things. For it is only righteousness that will prevail. Rest assured of that. Isaiah chapter 2 and verse 8 again. Their land also is full of idols. Everything that surrounds them, every purchased possession that is in their arm's reach, they lean to as a source of security and safety. Whether it be a vehicle, a fence around your property, all these things, they find comfort and security in the works of their hands. That's not freedom. That's making yourself, you're building a prison. You're putting yourself in a prison But that's not what his ultimate desire is. He wants us to be liberated out of the land of our captivity and leaning on all these idols and things that keep us in bondage, right? So verse 9, and the mean man boweth down, and the great man humbleth himself. Therefore forgive them not. He's not going to forgive those that continue to put all their faith in their resources. Our only one resource that we rely on is Yahweh wa Yahweh Shai. That's it. Seek ye the kingdom first, and everything else will be added. Put your heart and your energy and your mind and your spirit all into his plan, right? You trade this life and everything you have in it for the life that he has prepared for you. You don't hang on to both. You don't say, I'm just going to, for a little while longer and then I'll make that transition. No, you're either all in or you're out. Simple as that. And he knows the heart. He knows the heart, and it's truly wicked. But he knows that. He knows those that have a sincere heart, that want to seek him and put him first. Because you put him first, he's going to put you first. Isaiah chapter 2 and verse 10, he says, enter into the rock. Enter into that ark. Enter into his rest. Enter into his word. Enter into the rock. Right? The Messiah was that rock. The word made flesh. Yahweh himself has put forth his messengers on the earth in the flesh, walking around, delivering his sincere word. And it's dismissed more times than often because he chooses the foolish things out of the earth to confound the most wise. But those that continue to heap up themselves those that sound like they have wisdom is going to heap up nothing but death and destruction. They'll find out soon come. Isaiah chapter 2 and verse 10, enter into the rock and hide thee in the dust for fear of Yahweh and for the glory of his majesty. He's not telling you to go dig in the dirt and hide yourself in the dust. No, he's telling you to be repentant. Cover yourself in sackcloth and ashes. Hide yourself in that dirt. That way, humble yourself. You're not able to save yourself. You're not able to do anything. You're a worm. He considers Jacob a worm, a defenseless thing that needs to be covered and rescued. There's a phrase that I love, and it also it brings some clarity to my understanding when I see those that seem like they well off and they have all these things. That's fine and all, but he says if salvation was something one could buy, the rich would live and the poor would die. If salvation was something that one could buy, which means those that have the wealth and the means and the network and resources, they're not going to be able to buy themselves out of what's to come. But those that have nothing, have no support, there's those that may only have a bag of groceries in their cupboards and not know when their next meal is going to come, not know how all these things are going to happen for themselves. But this is the faith that we must continue to build and establish for ourselves, knowing that he's able to feed the things of the wild. How much more, the creation that he has made, especially those that seek him with all their heart, mind, and soul. He's going to provide all things. It might seem unordinary in the eyes of all those that may see people that are not preparing in a way that they are, having the same understanding of what's to come. You're not going to go grow food. You're not going to go food shopping every other day and fill your house up. You're not going to go get weapons. You're not going to defend yourself. You're not using the scriptures wisely. This is what a carnal, fleshly person may view. But we know that we are owned and bought with a purchase. We're a purchased possession unto the Father. He has that much care and love for those that fear and love him. promise you. Isaiah chapter 2 and verse 11. The lofty looks of man shall be humbled, and the haughtiness of men shall be bowed down, and the Lord alone, Yahweh alone, shall be exalted in that day. For the day of Yahweh of hosts shall be upon every one that is proud and lofty, and upon every one that is lifted up, and he shall be brought low. That's plain upon tables. You know, not one speck of pride should be in us. We should be self-examining ourselves every single day and seeking out his word first and foremost, more than anything else. Put your understanding of what's to come, built on scripture provided by the prophets and the teachers and the bishops, a great millstone to build you up in that understanding. Isaiah chapter 24. Isaiah chapter 24. Isaiah chapter 24, starting at verse 1. Remember, a flood is coming. Don't get too complacent. Deception is high. All kinds of stimulant is out there in the atmosphere, moving people to make unwise choices. But stay locked in, keep your shield up, keep your sword sharp, and stay very circumspect. And have a clean ear to listen to every word so you can sift out and make the proper adjustments according to what your needs are. Isaiah chapter 24. Behold, Yahweh maketh the earth empty, and he maketh it waste, and turneth it upside down, and scattereth abroad the inhabitants thereof. He's going to shake everything that can be shaken loose. Anything that's not firmly planted with the living water of a nice strong tree is going to be shooken and taken out the way. Behold, Yahweh maketh the earth empty, and maketh it waste, and turneth it upside down, and scatters abroad the inhabitants thereof. He's going to unleash so much terror that anything that's not firmly planted in faith is going to be taken out the way. Verse 2. And it shall be as with the people, so with the priests, as with the servant, so with his master, as with the maid, so with the mistress, as with the buyer, so with the seller, as with the lender, so with the borrower, as with the taker of usury, so with the giver of usury of him. Economic failure. Total stop. Full stop of everything. He's going to stop everything because he's going to come and revamp, if you will, the earth and refresh it after judgments are poured upon the land. Isaiah 24 and verse 3. The land shall be utterly emptied and utterly spoiled, for Yahweh hath spoken this word. His word is supreme. If any other person out there in the flesh tells you otherwise, depart from them. They are lying to you, and they're contrary to what the word says. His word will not return back void. He says what he's going to say. He said he's going to turn it upside down and make it the world empty, or make it the land empty. That doesn't mean that he's going to totally decimate the land in the beginning. But he is certainly going to start the program of cleansing the earth of iniquity and sinners using those spirits that are made for vengeance. Right? The land shall be utterly emptied and utterly spoiled, for Yahweh hath spoken this word. The earth mourneth and fadeth away, and the world languisheth and fadeth away. The haughty people of the earth do languish. The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinances, broken the everlasting covenant. Because this society, starting with the nation of Yasharallah, the 12 tribes, have not kept the ordinances. This is why the earth is in a fallen state and given over to the hands of the wicked. the wicked rule and authority for the sheer purposes of ultimately bringing forth the kingdom to come by cleansing the earth of iniquity, because evil is created for the wicked. You need this in order to bring forth righteousness, right? But this is why the earth does languish, because the proud and lofty and those that have no fear of the Father are running amok. But he's coming to do away with all that. Verse 6 of Isaiah chapter 24, it says, therefore have the curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burned. Those ICBMs, the nuclear destruction that is written to be poured about on Sodom and Egypt. This nation here, this proud and lofty nation, one that has not been touched. Continuing on in verse 6, he says, and few men left. A very small remnant of righteous elect will still be in the earth to reestablish the earth in righteousness under the ordinances of the law, statutes, and commands of Yahweh, or Yahweh Shai, and no other idol or religion or deity is going to be set up ever again. It's going to be our power, Yahweh, or Yahweh Shai, of the 12 tribes of Israel. Let's go into Ecclesiasticus, also known as Sirach, at verse 40. Chapter 40, reading at verse 8 on down. It says, such things happen unto all flesh, both man and beast, and that is sevenfold more upon sinners. He's talking about judgments and chastisements. He says, such things happen unto all flesh. The righteous also get chastised for going off in that proportionate and proportionately unto the righteous, but also unto the sinners. It says, unto all flesh, both man and beast, and that is sevenfold more upon sinners. Those that do not keep any of his ways, their judgments are sevenfold more. Verse 9, death and bloodshed, strife and the sword, calamities, famine, tribulation, and the scourge. These things are created for the wicked, and for their sakes came the flood. Because of the wicked rulers and their followers that continue to follow them is the reason why the flood is coming. And for the righteous to continue to keep his ways, build up your faith, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, and put down the cares of this life. Whatever you have going on, continue to persevere in it, whatever occupation you may be blessed to have to provide substance for your household, but nonetheless, put forth your energy and your time into building up your understanding in the scriptures. This is the food that is able to save you, right? So continuing on, these things are created for the wicked, and for their sakes came the flood. Verse 11, all things that are of the earth shall turn to the earth again, and that which is of the waters does return to the sea, right? All bribery and injustice shall be blotted out, but true dealings shall endure forever. Verse 13, the goods of the unjust shall be dried up like a river, and shall vanish with noise like a great thunder in rain. So again, a flood is coming. Put no faith and hope into the things that you find security in, but put all your faith and trust into serving Yahweh, Yahweh Shai. Reaching out to those, anyone that will hear your word, especially those of the 12 tribes of Yasharallah, the dispersed, the scattered abroad, to wake up your brothers and wash their feet and ignite them with the sincere word of righteousness to save their soul, so that way sins may be blotted out for the times to come. So a flood is coming. I pray this was edifying, and to the sincere sheep, Almighty Shalom.